about it, but I know that you are a grounds man, so you will know about it. Mr. Speaker, in doing this exercise, we check the price of chicken back and to see whether or not chicken back would still make it into the basket. And it did, but for obvious reasons we wouldn't carry that into the parliament. But in doing our checks, someone said to us, then if you want to show things gone bad, no matter talk about chicken back, because people don't buy chicken back so much the more. What people buy now is fish back. Yes, Mr. Speaker, there is such a thing now as fish back. Fish back. Yes. So what happened now, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, what happened now? What happened now, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, what happened now is that Mr. Speaker, what is happening now is that people are importing what is left of the fish after it has been filleted, and that now is being sold as the protein that poor people can buy. That is where things have gone to, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the only question that we have to ask, the only question, are you better off now, or were you better off under the Jamaica Labour Party government? Because, Mr. Speaker, that is what it comes down to. All the talk about passing IMF tests and all the talk, it comes down to one thing only. Is the quality of your life better off now, or was it better off under the Jamaica Labour Party? Mr. Speaker, unless the economy grows by upwards of 5% on a sustained basis, the government's agreement with the IMF will cause Jamaicans unbearable pain and suffering. Mr. Speaker, it should be clear even to those who refuse to see that the PNP government knows nothing about how to grow the economy. We in the Labour Party know how to put plans in place to facilitate growth. The Labour Party is the growth party. The only two periods of sustained growth above 5% in Jamaica since independence occurred under the Jamaica Labour Party. What this government knows, Mr. Speaker, is to tax Jamaicans. This government does not have a growth plan. This government has a tax plan. In 2012, they dropped $19.4 billion in taxes on us. In 2013, they slapped us with $15.9 billion of taxes. We did not get away in 2014 as the minister came to this house and added $6.7 billion in taxes to the backs of the Jamaican people. This year, Mr. Speaker, This year, Mr. Speaker, they even tried to trick us by saying that the gap in the budget was only $10.3 billion. So if you take the $10.3 billion with all the other taxes that have gone before, since this government has been in power, they have placed on the backs of Americans $52.3 billion in taxes. And if you add to that what they have taken from the NHT, what it means, Mr. Speaker, is that the government is literally going into your pocket and taking out your money. The government is literally taking out of the economy $52 billion in taxes in the last 3 years. You wonder why the country can't grow? There's no money to grow. But this year, the Minister of Finance said, well, the tax is going to be $10.35 billion. But then he comes afterwards and says, well, the real gap is $22 billion. But you're only going to pay 10.3 in taxes. Well, what he's actually saying is that you're going to pay 10.3 in new taxes. But in old taxes that already existed, we are going to still come back to you and scrape out the additional $12 billion. And there's a word for it. The word is called compliance. So you pay new taxes and you have to comply with the old taxes. Now let me make it absolutely clear, Minister. We on this side believe that people should pay their taxes. People should comply with the law of the land and pay their taxes. But we believe that if you pay your taxes, you should not be harassed for more taxes. And that, Mr. Speaker, is what many people in the business community feels. That the people who pay their taxes are the ones who are going to get harassed again for more taxes. Because the compliance strategy is not about so much the expansion of the tax net. Too much work to get new people into the tax net. Let us just focus on the ones who we know already. That is not a fair tax reform, Minister. Tax reform should be that if you pay your taxes and you are productive, then you should benefit from tax relief.